This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what are we getting into next. We are your host,
Cheryl.
And Che. Kind of butchered that intro.
I mean, that's how you know we do it live. This week we watched Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver on Netflix, so that is what the trivia will be based on. Are you ready?
Yes.
So Zack Snyder, who is the director of this movie, is also going to be working on another movie, of course, because he's a director, but it's based off a popular king from the past. Who is it? That's all you get.
Repeat it.
Zack Snyder's, one of his next films, he is going to be doing a movie retelling of a popular king's life. Which king is it?
A popular king. Please tell me it's not like the Bible, like King James.
No, King James is no. No.
Okay. King Charles?
No, King Arthur. He wants to do a movie retelling.
He wants to, now he's already planning one.
Yes.
Okay.
King Arthur, is the popular medieval figure dating back to the 5th century. Zack Snyder wants to
That's the sword and stone guy?
Yeah. However, there's no information about when he foresees this project to materialize.
Hopefully never.
It says that notably in Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, there were many references to the 1982 Arthurian movie, Excalibur.
Yeah, all of
Arthurian.
Zack Snyder's DC films are just compilations of many references from different things.
Including this movie. So yeah, that's the trivia. It's not very exciting, which probably gives you a hint of how we felt about Rebel Moon Part 2.
Foreshadowing.
If you haven't watched or listened to our review for Rebel Moon Part 1, go ahead and do that, or don't. I mean, you should give us the stream anyway, but we didn't recommend watching the movie.
Make it a double feature.
Right.
Listen to Child of Fire and Scargiver podcast.
Yeah, make it the double feature of our episode, not of the movie.
Right.
But having said that, let's get into our episode.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. So the agenda for this episode is pretty light. It wasn't too busy, I would say, in the movie streets. We got a couple movie announcements. There's a lot of casting news that came out. 2 trailers that one I think we kind of been waiting for just to see how it's going to pan out. And the other one was a movie that was announced not too long ago. So the trailer came up pretty quickly after the movie was announced. And then we got a small size bunch crunch before we get into our movie review. So let's start off with the top. Martin Scorsese's next 2 films are about Jesus and Frank Sinatra.
Interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So Andrew Garfield and Miles Teller are in talks to star in Martin Scorsese's adaptation of A Man's Name I'm going to butcher. Do you want to give it a try? Shusaku
Indos.
Okay. That author that you just named has a book called The Life of Jesus. And that is who Martin Scorsese's movie is supposed to be based on. Now, I looked up this book.
Is it a crime thriller? Because that's Martin Scorsese's name.
No, it is not a Jesus crime thriller.
I mean, that's Martin Scorsese's like thing, is like crime gang films.
Right. We did talk about how, because when we get to Frank Sinatra, you were like, was he like involved with the mob? Because all of his movies have some sort of like mob crime affiliation. But I mean, technically, I guess killing Jesus was a crime after the fact. They were like, oh, we done messed up.
A gang of Romans.
During the act, they didn't think it was a crime. I don't know. So the book that he is basing this off of is from one of Japan's greatest modern writers. So The Life of Jesus from this author was just a simple, powerful retelling of the life of Christ as seen through the eyes of a Japanese novelist. So I'm not sure why this particular version of Jesus' life is poignant, and why Martin Scorsese would want to make, because you have the Bible. So I'm not sure why you would want to base your book about Jesus on somebody else's book. But question that we ask for every movie, why? Why do we need another Jesus movie?
It seems like it's more dramatized.
Okay.
Some of the reviews for the book, A Life of Jesus, says it's more of like a retelling, a storytelling of a spiritual figure.
From a non-spiritual person?
From
maybe?
a non-spiritual person. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not like enlightening, like
it's not, it doesn't
Bible.
have like maybe like, cause so Book of Clarence had a very religious undertone because it was about a person trying to mimic Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could have made that book or made that movie without the spiritual undertone. So maybe this version of Martin Scorsese's movie will be without the, although I don't know how you separate the two. I don't know about that. So I found something else about it. It says the author intended to make Jesus understandable in terms of the religious psychology of my non-Christian countrymen, and thus to demonstrate that Jesus is not alien to their religious sensibilities. That's a lot to say.
So is it trying to introduce us like Jesus as a segue to different types of religion?
I don't know.
Like how he relates or how he might fit into other cultures or religions?
I don't know. I'm very confused.
This doesn't feel necessary.
Well, that, and I like Andrew Garfield. I haven't seen Miles Teller, I think, in anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact you got them in this movie is already giving me some type of vibes. Just based on what we know about Jesus and where he's from.
That
I'm like, do we really want to go down this path, Martin?
That and also, yeah, Andrew Garfield and Miles Teller are very interesting leads.
It's not even about their
choices for leads.
Yeah, well, leads in a movie about Jesus.
Yeah, they're very interesting choices for lead actors.
Yeah, I don't know how well this is gonna go over. I mean, are we gonna get another Killers of the Flower Moon where it's like critically acclaimed and then it's like 3 hours long and people are like,
probably.
It was great, but I would never watch it again. Or
probably because Jesus is not a short story.
It's right. I don't know how I feel about the Jesus movie.
Even Book of Clarence felt long in some parts of it. So.
It did, and we didn't particularly even enjoy that.
No,
movie.
We went in open-minded.
Right.
But yeah.
It's not on my must-see list.
I need to see a trailer. I'm very interested in how it's going to be different than the
Passion.
Bible, I guess, because Jesus.
But why would you try to make a movie different from the Bible?
I don't know, because the Bible and like the life of Jesus is very dramatic. It has a lot of drama in it.
Right.
But so I don't know if it needs to be retold a different way I don't know if it's going to over dramatize it or under dramatize it, because it's very dramatic. The story of Jesus Christ is like super dramatic.
I mean,
already and eventful. So
right.
What else is there to do?
And we know he's not turning into an action movie. So.
Hopefully.
I mean,
well, it's Martin Scorsese, not Zack Snyder.
Oh, right. So we don't have to worry about slow motion Jesus.
Right.
So going on to Martin Scorsese's next film about Frank Sinatra. He's doing a biopic about Frank Sinatra that will star Leonardo DiCaprio as the lead. And Jennifer Lawrence is going to play Sinatra's second wife, actress Ava Gardner, who we looked up because we were thinking, why second wife and not first, third, or fourth wife?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we found what was so pivotal about. What I think we did find was that the actress Ava is the one who broke up his marriage to Nancy.
Yeah, so
there's that significance.
She was an actress in which she was having a very public affair with.
Ah, okay. Sinatra's daughter Tina, who controls Frank's estate, has not given the film her blessing. So I'm not sure why we're casting folks for a movie where the estate is like, no, thank you, but you don't need, right? He doesn't technically need the blessing. But I feel like Martin Scorsese is not the type to make a movie about somebody's life where the existing family's like, we don't want this and do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm curious why we got people signing contracts as big as Leonardo and Jennifer when we're not sure if the movie is actually going to be okayed or not. This is also going to be a very long movie as well. It's
probably going to be very long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to have the blessing of the estate. It kind of just helps with promotion.
Well, yeah, and I feel like Frank Sinatra is not an estate you want to make off. You want to piss off, in my personal opinion.
True, also, but
they don't. Hollywood does not seem to care about the living people the living family.
No, they
the
don't.
Dead
Not at all.
person.
Not if there's a story to tell.
Not if there's money to their mate. I'm like, oh, they'll be all right.
So the Jesus movie, I'll need to see a trailer for because I'm mostly just interested in what
Who's playing Jesus? Oh.
It's probably going to be Andrew Garfield. Probably. I'm more interested in what it's going to add.
Right.
To the story
we already know.
That we already know to make it worth watching. But I wouldn't say I'm interested.
No.
As far as Frank Sinatra, I'm super not interested because that's a biopic.
But Leo's probably going to do a good job, though.
He's going to do a great job.
And so is Jennifer Lawrence.
But
I would say both of them.
It's a biopic about two dead people. And Frank Sinatra is super,
is
legendary.
Dead? I'm assuming she
Yeah,
is.
she died at the age of 67.
Okay.
In 1990.
Gotcha.
Frank Sinatra is super legendary.
Yeah, I just don't know if you want to make a movie and they kind of iffy about it. The fact that it's iffy, I feel like I'd be I don't think I want to do this.
I think I'm even less interested due to the fact that Frank Sinatra was married 4 times. All of his stuff was left to his 4th wife. So this second wife is super irrelevant.
Yeah, she said, she actually went to marry Mickey Rooney for a year.
Yeah.
Sometime later.
So they weren't even the last of
each other.
So
I don't know. I want Martin to keep making, and he's very much like, I want to keep making movies because he's an older director. Mm-hmm. He's very much like, this is my passion. I want to keep making movies. I just don't know if these are the ones.
Yeah.
To sign off on.
Keep at it,
right,
Marty.
Speaking of directors and movies, Quentin Tarantino scraps his idea for his 10th and supposedly final film, The Movie Critic. So Quentin Tarantino said that a while ago that his next movie was going to be his last movie. And I think a little while after that, we found out it was going to be called The Movie Critic. A little bit of information we had about it was that Brad Pitt was going to star in this movie. Was there a Tom Cruise rumor?
There was a Tom Cruise rumor that he was going to be in it.
He was going to be in it, but according to the most recent news, it's dead in the water. It's not coming to fruition. Sources are saying that he was writing it, it wasn't coming out, and he's changed his mind. So his 10th and final movie is no longer happening. As of now, I'm sure he'll do something, but as of now, it's not The Movie Critic.
It's very interesting. I wonder if he just didn't have enough make it
material.
Yeah. Like maybe he hit a writing wall, or just felt like what he had wasn't enough.
He doesn't pump out movies super often. Mm-mm. So he's definitely taking his time.
Been making movies forever, and this is his 10th. So
exactly. So I'm curious of where he's gonna go now. I did not see his last movie in Hollywood, whatever it was, with
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was supposedly reprising his role from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in this film.
It was supposed to be a continuation. Okay.
Yeah. Which I don't know if he does.
I don't know if I had to see the first one to see this one.
I don't know if Quentin Tarantino does those.
No.
Continuations.
I don't think
he
so.
does Easter eggs or things that
minor connections maybe
could indicate that some films take place in the same universes.
Right.
But yeah.
We'll see. I'm sure he's gonna make something, but it probably will be a while before we hear about whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right. That is it for as far as directors and new movies, but we did get quite a bit of casting news. So get ready for me to butcher people's names. No, I think I know all these. I think I can do all good with all of these. First piece we have is Justice Smith, Dominic Sessa, and Ariana Greenblatt are joining the cast of Now You See Me 3, which is the movie about musicians with Morgan Freeman, the Lex Luthor guy who I did not like. Mark Ruffalo is also in Now You See Me, right?
Yes, he's the lead magician.
Okay.
Daniel Radcliffe was the villain in the last one. Woody Harrelson.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm. So the big thing about this version or this sequel is that all the original cast, which we talked about last time, is coming back. So they have added 3 new people. So the cast is now 10 because there's already 8 people in this movie. Mm-hmm. But I like to see that. Is it Ariana or Ariana Greenblatt?
It's Ariana, like Grande.
Gotcha. Ariana is getting more
Greenblatt.
Don't hold it to our head, not our heart, Ariana. She is getting more work, which is cool, but it seems like this will be her. She'll be an adult.
Yeah, usually she has like kid roles.
Because she's been Kid Gamora. She was Kid Ahsoka.
She was very young in Barbie.
She was young. She was a like maybe middle school, high schooler in Barbie.
And I'm not sure if she's a child or an adult in the Star Wars show, Acolyte. That's coming out.
Okay.
She plays an alien, so I can't tell.
We won't know ever. So that's cool that she's getting more work. Did you like the first two Now You See Me? I think I've only seen the second one.
I've only seen the first one.
Okay.
I did not see the second one all the way through. I've seen very bits and pieces of it. I know that they replaced one of the actresses from the first one in the second one.
Because she didn't want to come back.
But it seems like she's returning for this one.
Yes,
so that's a good sign.
We talked about that the last time. So, and it's been a while since they've come out. The Now You See Me 2 came out in 2016. So at least they waited.
Yeah.
To let it cook for a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, next bit of casting. Jonathan Bailey and Coma Domingo are in talks to star alongside Scarlett Johansson and Dev Patel in Jurassic City. Coma Domingo, the news came out that he's in talks to play the villain. Some people were like, the dinosaurs are the villain. No.
There's always a human
There's
villain.
always a human villain, and the dinosaurs are just being dinosaurs.
Right.
Like, they didn't ask to come back.
Right.
I think it's interesting that it sounds like... Now, I was nervous about when this movie first was announced because the news came out they were trying to rush it. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling more confident.
Because of the cast.
And
the director.
And the writer. Mm-hmm. So now we got writer check, director check, cast check. I think the only person that's confirmed is Scarlett Johansson, and everybody else is in talks, quote unquote.
I don't even think they've confirmed Gareth. I don't think anything's confirmed. I think it's just like
we riding on hopes and dreams.
Everything's
right now.
in heavy talks, but there hasn't actually been like a press release or anything yet.
To be honest, I don't even know if they confirmed Jurassic City because either you mentioned it or I saw it. I was like, when did this officially become Jurassic City?
Yeah, people just started calling it Jurassic City.
Because it was Jurassic World.
Right.
So we went from park, world to city.
Maybe it's going to be a smaller film and it's going to take place in like one location.
With dinosaurs.
Which is small. Which is smart.
An island though? Because you can't have dinosaurs in like New York and think they're not going to make it to Jersey.
I mean, I think dinosaurs are all over the world now because of how the last one ended, but maybe this movie takes place in one location.
Okay.
That's why it's called Jurassic City. Maybe it takes place in a city that's overrun by dinosaurs.
They should really put this in the future then. Because I'm going to have to suspend too much belief if I think it's in 2024.
They have to progress it enough to where dinosaurs have kind of like spread out a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm more on board than I was. Every time they put out something more, I'm like, okay, y'all getting me. Y'all buying me in. Y'all buying me in. On to more casting news that doesn't make sense as opposed to the Jurassic City, which did make sense. Pamela Anderson is set to star opposite Liam Neeson in Paramount's remake of Naked Gun. We don't need a Naked Gun.
No.
We don't need... You know what? Liam Neeson has found his lane in unserious movies.
Yeah.
So this fits him, actually. I didn't realize Pamela Anderson was still acting.
She's back on her...
What?
Fame...
Tour.
She just she started the whole no makeup campaign thing.
I missed that one. With Alicia Keys?
We're not with Alicia Keys, but she's doing the same thing Alicia Keys is doing. Where she's doing like, she's retired makeup and she's been doing like interviews and stuff. She just had she had that documentary about herself that came out on like Hulu or something. I remember that. So she's in a resurgence era right now.
Okay. I'm trying to look up and see what the last thing she was in.
I don't think she's a particularly great actress, but Naked Gun is a very campy show, so
you're not supposed
she
to be
doesn't have to be.
Right.
No. Jennifer Coolidge would have been a better choice.
Oh, that actually would have made me
like Liam Neeson and Jennifer Coolidge.
Watch it on streaming. I don't know if I would have went to the movies, but she's been playing herself in a lot.
Are you gonna go to the movies to see Pamela Anderson?
No. I'm saying if Jennifer Coolidge was in this, I at least would have watched it on streaming.
Oh, you would have watched it at all?
Correct. Okay. There it is. Right. At least would have seen, my eyeballs would have actually watched it versus now I'm kind of like, nope, this is going to come and go. Gotcha. Yeah, she hasn't been in any movie as playing like an actress since some movie called Survey in 2017.
Didn't see it.
And then Pamela Anderson, A Love Story was her documentary that came out last year. Okay. Nope. I don't think this is a good idea.
I don't.
But we're here to give y'all news. So that's why it's on this list.
Yeah.
Something a little more exciting. Steve Buscemi is going to join Netflix Wednesday series.
We just rewatched Con Air.
We did. We did. We were waiting. I was like, well, why were we watching Cartoon? We was just chilling in the house because we left for vacation the next day. So we were just watching movies. And it doesn't say who he's playing, I don't think. But Wednesday, you know what? I started Wednesday, but I did not finish Wednesday.
No, it was a little too, it was good, but it was a little too CW series for me. I'm a little old. I'm aged out of that.
Yeah, it was very high school. It says that his role has not been officially revealed, and the rumor is he will play the new principal. So,
because they killed.
I was gonna say, I think I just
Game of
spoiled.
Thrones.
Okay, I think I knew that already.
Yeah,
I put in the notes as a spoiler for this, but you're right. I did see what happened at the end of season 2 or season 1. So that'll probably add more credibility. I mean, people already like Wednesday. I think it's like one of Netflix's highest watch shows. Steve Buscemi just adds more to that.
Yeah, that was a big reason why supposedly Jenna Ortega wasn't returning for Scream, was because of Wednesday protection. So, yeah.
Seems like a good fit.
Absolutely.
So that'll be good for him. All right, next in the comic book world, Pruitt Taylor Vince and Neva Howell will star as Martha and John. I said them backwards, but Jonathan and Martha Kent in James Gunn's Superman movie, which I have noticed that they officially dropped Legacy. Because nobody puts Legacy after it anymore.
Yeah, it's just Superman.
Ah, interesting. I recognize Pruitt Taylor Vince from something. Oh, he was the preacher or pastor or priest or whatever in Constantine. Who was?
I thought he was a cop in Constantine that got that was cursed with he thought he was thirsty, but in reality he was overdosing on alcohol.
He was a priest. He wasn't a cop.
He was a priest?
Yeah, he had on the whole because he was stabbing his member in the palm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's how Constantine found him.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
He's a priest. That's where I know him the most from. I don't think I recognize.
No, both of them are very small names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means they probably won't have a big role in this movie.
Well, John's going to die.
He has to.
Probably very quickly because he dies before he becomes Superman. His dad does. So I don't know. Pruitt Taylor Vince is a very interesting choice because he doesn't look anything like traditional John Kent.
If you've never seen him, he is heavyset. He kind of looks like
Kingpin.
Dang it. I was
sorry.
No. Not dang it because you said it, but I was feeling bad about thinking that, but you are correct.
He does look like Kingpin.
He does. He looks like he would play a great Kingpin. Yeah. Actually.
Absolutely.
Which is different. I didn't see a lot of people having a fit about it. Of course, because it's funny. You can have an unofficial, new-looking female character and it be the end of the world, but you change up Jonathan Kent and nobody cares.
Yeah, I think Neva Howell is a very interesting choice
what is
for
she
Martha.
From? Do you know anything?
I don't know anything she's from. I'm just saying, just looking at her, she looks a bit older.
So we're getting
Martha.
Older, non-traditional parents.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Because they don't, she doesn't look. So if you've seen Superman, Zack Snyder's Superman, it was.
Zack Snyder's Superman, Henry Cavill? Diane Lane?
It was Diane Lane, and I was trying to think of.
Kevin Costner?
Thank you.
Okay.
So they look nothing like that.
No, because Diane Lane and Kevin Costner look like every John and Martha that came before. Yeah.
Right. So they don't look anything like that. It's fine. They're probably going to be in a movie for 2 minutes.
They can look different. I just think it's very interesting that he's casting most of every person in this movie is small.
Well, there's 12,000 characters.
I think at this point,
we don't have time.
I think at this point, Nicholas Hoult is the most famous person in this movie.
What's her name? Who's playing Lois? You don't think she's
not,
more?
No. Rachel Brosnahan? No.
She's got that show that everybody loves. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Maisel, Mrs. Marvel. You know what I'm talking about.
She's got, I don't know if that had high viewership. I know it's big for Amazon.
Okay. I was like, I didn't watch it, so.
Superman is definitely a no-name.
You're right.
His parents are definitely a no-name. Rachel Brosnahan is kind of a name.
Yeah. And
Nicholas Hoult is the only person I know that's been in like big movies and even a blockbuster.
Right. What blockbuster?
He's Beast.
You're right.
So several blockbusters.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it probably just means their roles are going to be small. I mean, there's 12,000 people in this movie, so everybody can't be on there for 10 minutes because we got places to be. Yeah. So, last bit of casting news, which people were pretty excited about. Keanu Reeves is going to voice Shadow in the upcoming Sonic 3 movie. I have not seen any of the Sonics, but they are well liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is a Knuckles spinoff that is coming to Paramount.
Well, I might watch that because it's Idris Elba.
The clip looks actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I will say that. So Shadow is a villain, correct? in Sonic?
Yeah,
Anti-hero? Black Adam?
They're all started just like Knuckles. They all start as villains, and then
Yeah, I was gonna say, where Knuckles at?
Sonic wins them over with the power of friendship, and they all team up.
They're very popular, I would say.
Yeah, the characters are absolutely.
They're already animated. I don't know what you call
they're
full
video
feature.
Game characters.
There it is.
Yeah.
These video game adaptations, that's the word I was looking for, are very popular. I'm not surprised. I like that Keanu Reeves does a little bit of everything still. He is not Mr. I'm too good for anything.
I believe he was he Batman?
He was Batman in the Lego movie?
No, he was Batman. I think Keanu Reeves was Batman in that animated movie where The Rock played Superman. Super Pets.
League of Super Pets? Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
He was Batman.
I like that Keanu Reeves is just pretty much kind of like, I'm going to work until I don't want to work.
Yeah, and he seems very humble and he appreciates what he does.
Who don't like Keanu Reeves? That would be weird. So that is coming out. I don't know if they announced the day or I don't think they've announced a date yet for that movie, but everybody was very excited about this casting. I think people wanted him to play him for whatever reason. So this is like people's wishes and dreams coming true.
Yeah.
For this particular movie. All right. So that's all we had for all of our movie news. Next, we're going to get into the trailer park.
First movie we have in the trailer park is Transformers 1. This is an animated Transformers film that stars Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, again, Lawrence Fishburne, and John Hamm. This premise, as it's listed on the wiki, is an origin story set on the planet of Cybertron, where the film will center on the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, going from brothers in arms to arch nemesis, and the foundations of the factions that they will lead and come into conflict with as Autobots and Decepticons.
That was wordy.
It's going to be,
for a kids movie.
So based on the trailer, it looks like it's going to be like a buddy cop movie. Mm-hmm. We don't see anywhere in the trailer where Optimus Prime and Megatron come to head. I think that there's going to be a central villain.
Yes.
Which is Steve Buscemi. He's not credited yet as like he doesn't have a character name. He's just listed as the film's antagonist.
Okay. I wonder why they don't want to say what his name is.
It's probably a spoiler. He's probably like Unicron or something.
Oh, okay. That would make sense then.
So it looks like they're going to be teaming up as friends, going against Steve Buscemi, and then Unicron. And then by the end, Megatron is going to take a turn, and then it's going to be the status quo going forward.
I will say that I thought the trailer was kind of funny.
It was funny.
It was more funny than I thought it would be in terms of, because I was just thinking straight kids kind of, I don't want to call it corny humor, kiddie humor. Mm-hmm. But it's not like adult humor, but it's still kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. That was good writing. Yeah. I laughed at that.
I'm in the same mind of a lot of people, where a lot of reaction was that the trailer was not what they expected it to be. I'm not disappointed by it. I actually like this. Okay. But I expected it to be like a serious animated, because Transformers has always been like serious-ish.
Yes.
It's been a kid's cartoon, but there's always been like the threat of the world and blah, blah, blah. It's always been like, it's never...
We gotta save it because somebody coming to tear it up type of thing.
Megatron has never been funny intentionally.
And they are definitely kicking back and forth.
This is a straight comedy.
It is.
And Brian Tyree Henry is a comedy actor.
And Chris Hemsworth know how to do comedic notes.
And he does.
For sure.
And I mean, you got Keegan-Michael Key, you got Steve Buscemi, you got John Hamm. These are all comedy actors. So it's going to be a very funny kids movie.
I think that's good, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think they're trying to get that. When I was trying to describe it to you, I was saying this, you were like, is it like Spider-Verse funny? I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. It's definitely got a funny, I'm sure there's going to be like a serious message, of course, but it's got a kind of funny undertone in it that is more kid friendly versus something else that I can't think of right now.
Yeah. Michael Bay is not directing this. It's going to be directed by Josh Cooley, but Michael Bay is producing, and it is being produced through Bayhem Films, which is Michael Bay's production house.
Okay.
John Cooley also directed the Toy Story 4 movie through Pixar. That was his directorial debut.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking up. Okay, he did the screenplay for Inside Out. People love Inside Out, so that's good. Promising.
Toy Story 4 wasn't my favorite, but it was a good movie and it was well liked, and it clearly did enough to keep it afloat because they're coming out with another one.
Right. And people love Inside Out.
And people love Inside Out. And Inside Out 2 is coming out. So.
Right. He's not doing the writing for Inside Out 2, but he did do the screenplay for the first one. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he also did voice work. So he was double teaming there.
Yeah. Transformers 1 will be out on the 20th of September, 2024. The next stop in the trailer park is a movie called Trap, which we discussed the announcement for, I think, an episode or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that is being directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it's going to star Josh Hartnett. And the premise is that Josh Hartnett plays a dad taking his daughter to a concert of this fictitious superstar named Lady Raven. You can insert any superstar.
I would say Beyonce. She took to a Beyonce
Lady
concert.
Gaga or something. He's taking his daughter to a concert, and it appears that the concert is actually a sting operation to catch a serial killer known as the Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's left ambiguous whether or not the Butcher is Josh Hartnett or not.
Oh, you didn't think from the trailer they pretty much spelled that out?
I don't know, because what's with the guy chained in the basement?
I think that Josh Hartnett was just keeping an eye on his victim. That's what I took it as. Because Josh Hartnett, to me, in the trailer, looks like he's, keeping tabs and make sure whoever he's about to butcher hasn't escaped. So he was just looking at a webcam.
I don't know, because it's M. Night Shyamalan, so it could be a twist.
Now, there is a twist. Clearly.
Josh Hartnett could also be a different killer.
Okay. But he would have to have hacked the other killer's webcam to see that video.
And the synopsis all say that they're in the center of a dark and sinister event. Like, what's sinister and dark about a sting operation?
Or a concert, I was thinking.
Or either. What's sinister and dark about a concert, and what's sinister and dark about a sting operation to catch a serial killer?
Interesting.
That's not either one of those things.
Somebody said that's a whole heck of a lot to do for just because the trailer sets it up as they literally planned the concert to trap him. Not that she was just on this tour stop and this is how they were like, oh, she coming, we know he got tickets, let's get him. It was more, it seems like they actually orchestrated this concert to get him.
Because isn't that dangerous? You want to catch a serial killer, so you surround him with a bunch of little girls. Because it seems like this whole concert is just full of like little girls.
Yeah, it's like a Beyonce or a Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande or
Yeah, it's a superstar that has like a young following.
Correct.
And they're like super excited to see.
Young adult crowd, female crowd for sure. But it says the butcher realized the concert is a trap set up by the police to catch him. So yeah, the concert is the trap, and that's a lot to go to for one person.
Yeah, and it's M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
So
there's
something else that's underneath all of this.
You know what's funny? Mm-hmm. The person who plays Lady Raven is also a Shyamalan.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay. She's actually an American R&B singer, writer, actress. Did you know that? Shalika Shyamalan?
No, because I didn't know she was an artist.
She's the eldest daughter of M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. So
family affair. We just talked about that because the movie that's coming out with his other daughter, I think is the director. Interesting. It looks good though. I'm gonna see it. I want to know what the twist is before it even comes out. So that's probably an indication I want to see it.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
Josh Hartnett seemed like he's having a resurgence. So I'll go watch it because of that too.
Maybe Josh Hartnett has the butcher chained in his basement.
So the guy on the screen was the butcher?
Maybe.
But why would they? We trying to figure it out. It ain't getting out yet. It comes out August 9th, so we ain't got too long to wait.
Yeah, so that movie comes out August 9th, and we will definitely be seeing that. They also said that there's I didn't fully view it, but there is a YouTube breakdown that shows like there's a couple Easter eggs in this movie.
Is this a new Rockstar situation?
No.
Oh, okay.
But there are a couple Easter eggs in this movie that connect this movie to The Watchers, which is the other Shyamalan movie.
Right,
from his daughter.
Right, right. I thought you were going to say Mr. Glass or something for whatever reason that they were.
No, but I mean, it could. M. Night Shyamalan is one of those directors where a lot of these movies could be in the same universe, like Unbreakable and Glass and Split.
Right, so, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I want to know what the twist is because it's going to be something.
Yeah. All right. So digging into our Bunch of Crunch, we have a couple of tidbits. Space Mountain is being written by Netflix's Cowboy Bebop writers, Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec. Space Mountain is, I don't know if it's a franchise, but it's like an old ride or something.
I don't think it's anything but a ride.
Yeah.
Space Mountain is a Disney World ride?
Yeah, kind of like think Pirates of the Caribbean, how that was a ride and they spun it out into a film. It's the exact same with Space
It
Mountain.
sounds like they're trying to redo Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just looking up about the ride because we haven't made it to Disney World yet. That's on our list.
The directors are an interesting choice only because Cowboy Bebop was not received well.
No.
And it was immediately canceled upon release.
Okay.
A lot of people's main complaint was the way it was shot.
They didn't like the stylizing of it?
They didn't like the style of the way it was filmed.
Okay.
That was the main complaint about it.
But they picked them up anyway.
But they picked them up anyway for this. So that's very interesting. So, I don't know.
It says Space Mountain is a space-themed indoor roller coaster attract. Oh, it's at 5 of the 6 Disneyland parks. Okay. So it's quite popular. I knew it was popular. I didn't realize it was at multiple parks, though.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're trying to do a Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, can we build a franchise on a ride?
Yeah, take a chance on this instead of resuscitating Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's original. It's based on a ride.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that they're regurgitating or trying to make trying to make a franchise out of something that already exists.
Yeah. All right, next piece of news. Invincible has been renewed for seasons 4 and 5. That's not surprising.
I think they're already done with season 3.
Yeah, Invincible has a very long comic run. So at this point, it's been successful enough that they're going to do it until they run out of source material.
They need to put season 3 out by the end of this year.
They need to not cut it in half again.
Woo.
That was the worst decision ever. I don't think they anticipated X-Men 97 being such a hit because X-Men 97 definitely dipped into their pool.
Well, couple things happened. One, they waited a very long time, and I'm saying they because I don't know if it was the people behind the scenes or if it was Amazon. But it took a long time for season 2 to come out for one, and then when season 2 came out, they split season 2 into 2 parts, which is the thing now for TV shows, and I do not know why. I could see. I hated it then too, but remember Scandal used to have like a mid-season break, which made no sense, but that's like actual film, and then maybe they just needed time to like edit and cut and retape some episodes or whatever. But this is animated, so I feel like they do this all in one go.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they split it. So killed the momentum because it took long for season 2. Killed the momentum because they split it into 2 parts. I have not even started watching the second part yet.
No, I fell off because
get to it.
I got distracted with other things, and then X-Men 97 came in just guns a-blazing.
Right. So I'm going to finish it because it's still good and it's highly rated, and the people who were watching it still liked it. It's just not, I lost a little the wind.
They focus too much on the
sails.
Guardians of the Globe, and the Guardians of the Globe are the most boring to me specifically. The Guardians of the Globe are the most boring characters on Earth. Not
my favorite in the show.
I'm much more interested in Mark's mom, Mark's new little brother,
right?
Cecil, and
Yep.
what's going on with Cecil. But we keep spending so much time with the Guardians of the Globe.
Not a fan, but I will finish this. From what the brief, because it gains no type of traction on social media. So when X-Men 97 comes out, it's like trending. People are talking about it.
It's very quiet for Invincible.
Next to nothing.
Yeah.
I see next to nothing about Invincible. So I drop season 3 now.
Yeah. Invincible discussions take place online like the day the episode drops, but then the next day it's completely forgotten about. But I feel like I can't. I enjoy X-Men 97.
Oh yeah, it's good.
But it's coming up to like every other tweet.
Is X-Men 97?
Is about X-Men 97.
Especially at first, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then leading up until like the day before. So that's like 4 days of X-Men talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. Season 1 is really good.
Yep.
Season 2 is good, and it's probably better to watch it now since it's all out. And then hopefully they do better timing for seasons 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
It must be getting the ratings if they keep renewing it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep up with Invincible.
Yes.
I'm going to keep watching it. I just am not rushing to it anymore. But
people, it must have the numbers.
Absolutely. It has the numbers, and even if it didn't, Amazon has the money to throw at it. So, in the last piece of Crunch in our bunch,
hey,
Fallout series has been renewed for a 2nd season. Now, this is another show I have not started yet. I was going to, but for some reason, we were going to watch it together on the plane.
Right.
I had downloaded like 4 episodes of it. I was ready. to watch it all through the travel. But for some reason, Amazon Prime's app, whether you use the app on the computer or whether you do it in the browser, you can't use dual audio. You can't do multiple device output. So we couldn't watch it together on the plane. And that kind of ticked me off. So
Amazon, get it together.
Get it together. So I'm still going to watch it. Absolutely. And Fallout 4 just got
4,000%. I just saw some crazy tweet about the sales for Fallout.
It became like the best selling game in the UK.
And we should say, because it's getting, the show season 1 is getting so well reviewed.
And they announced that they're going to do a next gen update for the game now.
Okay.
So it's going to get a next gen update with updated graphics and gameplay and be re-released for current systems.
I got some numbers for you. Sales for Fallout 4 have risen by more than 7,500%, 7,500% since the release of the TV series.
So they got the money to update it and re-release it.
Crazy. And that's in Europe. So for some reason they only have the European numbers. But
and they're also what are they working on? After they do the last gen update for the game and re-release it, they're going to release another version of the game called Fallout London, because all the Fallouts are based in the US. So they're going to do Fallout London now. This was a hit, and it's proven that they can stretch this franchise as far as possible, so they're going to. I mean,
I honestly wasn't expecting the show to be so highly rated, because video game adaptations are touch and go. Sometimes they get it right, like Sonic, for example. They must have be hitting on all cylinders, because they keep making those and people are excited. And then some don't go so well, like Twisted Metal, that seems to have come and gone for some reason.
Didn't make any noise.
But Fallout, the critic reviews are good, audience reviews are good.
It also helps that it's canon.
Okay.
The show is canon to the game series, because the game series, every game is a different vault.
Okay.
With a different main character emerging from the vault and adventuring. This is canon with the games.
Yeah.
So it's in the lore. This is exactly what WB is trying to do with their DC shows and video games. They want to make DC games based on the characters that are canon
I remember
to the
them
movies
saying
and
that
shows.
you would.
So it seems like Fallout kind of beat them to the punch.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise.
This is what it's going to be compared to when they start doing that.
Yeah. I mean, DC going to get compared to everything, because they behind the wagon at this point by several miles.
So that is all of our news, trailer park details, and Bunch of Crunch. We are going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back for our movie review of the critically acclaimed Rebel Moon Part 2.
It's critically something, but claimed is the wrong word you use there.
The Scargiver.
All right, welcome back. Our movie this week is Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. It was released on Netflix April 19th, 2024. It is directed by Zack Snyder, who also directed Part 1, obviously, if you didn't know. Do I need to do the cast list? Is anybody new in this who wasn't in the first one?
Yeah, I mean, we can do the cast list. We'll just run down it really quick.
All right, Sophia Boutella. I always say his first name wrong. Jaimin Hansu. Ed Skrein.
Ed Skrein.
See, that's why I don't do names. Michael Houseman?
I think it's Houseman.
Yeah. He spells Michael very interestingly.
I think he's foreign. He's Dutch.
Okay. Okay. Duna Bay.
Yep.
Ray Fisher, Anthony Hopkins, Stat Snyder. Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I've seen this movie, y'all, I promise. I'm not reading all these people that Wikipedia has listed, but let me get to the Frey Fee.
Oh my God. It was Cary Elwes was the king.
Cary Elwes. Oh, you were wondering. Oh my God, why was he in this movie?
He has such a distinct face, and I was like, "Is that?" But
Cary
he's Elwes?
old. Why did they make him so old?
They put that beard on him. Cary Elwes usually doesn't have facial hair anymore.
No, he doesn't. I'm hovering over his. So let me go back. So we Frey Fee, and then Cleopatra Coleman, and then there's a Stuart Martin, Evgard Sigurdsson. Who did he play? Oh, he was the older guy in the village. Okay. Alfonso Hera, and then Cary Elwes played the king, and he is from Princess Bride. That's probably his most. Robin Hood Man in Tights.
Twister.
No, dog. Robin Hood Men in Tights is his more popular role.
But Twister.
No.
But Twister.
No.
Kurt Elwes is in Twister.
He is the villain, quote unquote, in Twister. But I would say his most popular role is Men in Tights. Have you seen Men in Tights? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like the funny Robin Hood movie. Yes, I have.
But Princess Bride is probably more popular than both of those.
I also did just relook at Bram Stoker's Dracula, and he was also in.
Was he? Mm-hmm. Look at him. There's no reason for him to be in this movie.
I think he helped kill. He like worked with Anthony Hopkins or something in that movie because Anthony Hopkins was Van Helsing.
So Anthony Hopkins is why he's in this movie? Because other than that, I don't.
Oh my God, Anthony Hopkins was also in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I totally forgot.
Yeah, because I'm like, this man get work. He was also, who was he in Dead Reckoning Part 1?
He was the bad guy. He turned out to be the bad guy.
In Dead Reckoning?
He was the one who hired the bad guy to use the AI.
Okay.
And they ended up killing him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's also in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. He had 2 movies come out this weekend.
Gary always be busy. He just pops up in stuff.
He does.
He does like small roles in a bunch of things.
You know what? He probably said, put this beard on so nobody know it's me.
Yeah. And he's always fun. His character is always fun. Except in this one.
In this one. Because he's
fun when you give him things to do.
Right. And then there's some other people who don't have links. So thoughts and prayers to the rest of this cast list.
Sorry.
Going back to our notes here. Runtime, 2 hours and 2 minutes. The budget was $166 million. And that includes part 1 and part 2. So 2 movies for 166 is not terrible given the CGI that was in this, I guess. Scale, it's pretty.
CGI was not my complaint.
Okay, so it would be 83 apiece.
Sure.
For each movie. That ain't bad. That's the creator numbers.
Yeah.
No box office because this went straight to Netflix as it should have. So there's also no cinema score. Cinema score. Because it wasn't in the theaters. Rotten Tomatoes score. Let me check it because I just did this yesterday. Let me see if the numbers have changed for Rebel Moon. Oh, a little bit. Okay. Latest numbers are 18%.
So it went up because it was 13.
It was 18% critic score and 47% audience score. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think has moved since I looked at this. Because it did go up. It used to be 16 and 43.
Here's the thing. Nobody watched this but the people who were interested in watching this.
I think we're all hate watching it.
Nobody watched this but Zack Snyder's target demographic. Like, outside of the people who do reviews and podcasts us.
Right.
The casuals are people who actually wanted to see this. And that means the people who wanted to see this, his target demographic, did not like this movie.
There are only 62 critic scores, which is typically kind of low for a movie.
I heard that the screeners didn't come out until the day before the movie released.
People probably just skipped it then.
So, and there are other Ungentlemanly Warfare. There are other films that came out that actually went to theaters.
Right.
Yeah, so, no.
So they probably were like, no, thank you.
Yeah. We're probably the only people who are covering this.
I did have one fun fact about this movie. Zack Snyder plans to release a total of 6 Rebel Moon movies.
Rebel Bomb.
Yeah, so he said that, I think actually co-writer Kurt Johnston announced that although original plans were for a trilogy of movies, the franchise will eventually consist of 6 total films, explaining that the stories for each original installment have been expanded into 2 parts. Nope. So each story is 2 parts. The writer stated that the treatments are completed for 3rd and 4th movie, and Snyder is currently writing the 3rd film. I ain't done yet. On the same day, Snyder stated the total number of films in the series will either be 4 or 6, depending on whether or not the 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd entries of the trilogy each get split into 2 movies as well. So they're basically saying there are 3 movies. Each movie is 2 parts, which makes 6 movies.
No. No more. Enough is enough.
So we are not
on my watch.
We are not going to do spoilers and non-spoilers or non-spoilers and then spoil the movie. We're going straight into spoilers. This is a part 2 of a movie, so you would have had to have at least have some awareness of what happened in part 1. To summarize the plot of this
7 Samurai. It's
Star Wars, the 7 Samurais, it's Magnificent 7. It's basically a movie about a war orphan who gets raised in this horrible military, and then she leaves because she's accused of a crime, and that same military comes and tries to blow up and take over a village, and she ain't down for
and
that.
get her. Because
And
she's
get her.
also like a fugitive, like enemy of the state.
Right, basically. She's an enemy of the state. And she helps the villagers train. She gets a ragtag team of
Misfits.
helpers.
It's a Bug's Life.
There you go. She gets a ragtag team of people to help her train this village so they can fight the bad guys. That is the summary of the movie.
Yeah, it's a Bug's Life. The locusts are coming. She has to go get the circus bugs to bring them back to defeat them.
Okay. We just gonna go down our typical movie thing here. That was a spoiler. Is there anybody who we liked and didn't like more or less in the first one or the second one?
I like Jaimin Hansu.
Jaimin Hansu had more to do in this one than he did the last one.
Yeah, he was almost. They bumped his character up.
He probably had one of the.
He had a lot of screen time.
I was gonna say he probably had more screen time than anybody besides Sophia and the other guy.
Yeah,
whose name I don't remember.
Itzgren. The villain?
No.
Michael Hausman?
The love interest.
Michael Huseman.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was cool. Everybody else was there in the movie. I don't like the guy who played the villain, and we're not supposed to like him because he's a villain. He's like a knockoff Nazi, essentially. So we're not supposed to like him.
I liked him in Deadpool. I did not like him in this, and I don't think it's because of him that his character was just whack.
His character was very whack.
Yeah.
He was also in Maleficent. I don't remember as what. He was in If Beale Street Could Talk as Officer Bale. Maybe that's why I don't like him.
Oh, no.
Good gravy.
He was in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Who was he in Maleficent? Was he like a voice actor?
No, he was Bora. Borra.
Oh, he was one of the bird people. Because she's a bird person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. I didn't like him in this.
No.
The acting, the portrayal, I already didn't like the character, which we're not supposed to. But
he was just nuts to be nuts. He didn't have anything, like he had no motivations outside of just for the Empire. And it's like, okay,
he was mean and he like kills people and you're kind of like,
he's like a baseline space Nazi.
He's not intimidating or scary.
He should have been, since this was supposed to be Star Wars so much, he should have been the Kylo Ren. He should have been the person who had an actual motivation outside of just loyalty to the Empire. He should have had like some type of something interesting about his character. He was just so like regular.
He was somebody else I didn't like. Fry Fee, who played Regent Belisarius.
I mean, we barely saw him, but yeah.
Every time he was on screen, I was like, boo.
He wasn't a particularly good actor.
Boo.
Yeah.
No, he was not a particularly good actor either. He is Irish. Oh, he played Kazi in Hawkeye. Who the heck was that?
Don't recall.
In Hawkeye?
But I also did not like Alfonso Herrera, who played Cassius, who was Ed Skrein's second in command.
Pointless.
The guy who was like there to resurrect him.
Unneeded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who he was in Hawkeye. Kazimierak. He might have been a villain. It sounds Russian.
Was he part of the Red Suit Gang?
Sure.
Was he the guy? Oh, he was the Red Suit Gang guy that got killed because he actually betrayed Echo.
Oh. Okay. I'm following.
He betrayed her.
Okay.
Yeah, she killed him.
So he's good at playing whack characters.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So let's just give our general thoughts. I was like, so we're not going to do spoilers and non-spoilers. Spoiler alert if you really, really don't want to hear anything about this movie. It ends, we'll just talk about the end. It ends how you think it would. What's the Scargiver? I can't remember the I'm like, what is the main character's name? The villagers, although some do die, they do defeat the military. And Cora basically kills the main bad guy. And rah, let my people go, battle. And then he ends the movie with a continuation.
Yeah, so basically this movie ends like
a setup.
It turns out that this movie is like the Two Towers.
It is.
The first one is the Fellowship of the Ring. It's going around. It's gathering
Collecting.
all the people.
Yep.
This is the Two Towers. This is the battle in Helm's Deep.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends where they're looking over at Mount Doom, and they're like, there's still more battle to come.
Correct. Because the whole premise is Sophia Boutella, Cora, let me just call her Cora. She runs away from the military people and her adoptive dad, who's the awful guy, because he frames the murder of the king, queen, and daughter on her. Mm-hmm. We'll get to why that's silly. But she leaves because she like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And at the end of the movie, we find out that the princess is not actually dead. She survived somehow because she's a princess of magical powers. And they're like, oh, we got to go find the princess and then take down Regent Belisarius, because the main Nazi guy, Atticus, the main bad villain in this movie, was just one person.
Yeah, because this is not going to be over until the Mother World is
Right. So the Mother World is the big bad. We had a little bad, and the little bad gets killed. So now they want to get the princess and kill the big bad.
Yeah.
That is how the movie basically ends. But the issue is that for about an hour, the movie's 2 hours, 2 minutes. The first hour is a bunch of nothing.
The first full hour is nothing.
I didn't like the fact that she kills the girl. Like, she's like, I got to be loyal to my adoptive dad.
So it's revealed. Mm-hmm.
It's revealed. And we know she did something with the girl, or something happened with her, because in the first part, she's her bodyguard.
Yeah. So we know she died, but I thought that she just failed at her job. The girl got killed and she ran off.
I wasn't surprised that she actually killed her. I wasn't surprised that she killed her. I was surprised that nobody had a super adverse reaction to that. Everybody was like, you killed the princess. I was like, oh, you. Okay, I know you. You want a beer? Like,
you're the reason all of this is happening.
She killed a child.
You're the reason all of this is happening. You don't have really any special skills.
Well, she gets to run away. So, somewhere in the middle of the movie, where everybody's doing their backstory, another crazy, stupid scene, she says what happens, and she ends up getting framed. So I think the military people actually physically kill the king and queen, and she kills the girl. And then her adoptive dad is like, oh no, everybody see what I see? She actually killed them all. And she's like, no, that wasn't me. What are you doing? So they try to catch her, but somehow she gets away. But then they don't
try to catch her.
They don't chase after her though.
She gets a gun. She shoots the guards that are standing there. She shoots a couple
guards, and then she leaves, and she's just free to just...
Nobody gives chase.
None. No chase. So she doesn't suffer very many consequences for killing a child. No. And I did not like that.
No.
At all. And my note says they just let her leave and let her live. Yeah. So she gets to go be a sharecropper on a village, and then the military shows up, and it just so happens to be the village where she's sharecropping.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's actually how the first part kicks off. The second part kicks off with them training the villagers to collect their grain, because the military is coming back to get the grain. Mm-hmm. So they're going to try to basically ambush the military when they come to get the grain. So the first hour is literally grain collecting and training. You get your typical training montage. Mm-hmm. Nothing new, nothing unusual. You got the helpless innocents, weak villagers, and they're trying to shoot guns and use knives and weapons, and it's a Mulan
they have
moment.
To do the make a man out of you.
Yes, they have to
montage.
Do the Mulan montage, and that's literally, we don't turn up until about an hour in.
Yeah, after about 20 minutes of extended slow-mo grain farming, we finally get to the battle. It seems like they revive Ed Skrein's character.
The villain.
The main villain.
Big, little villain, I'll call him.
Atticus Noble.
That's his official name.
They revive him. They don't know yet. They don't know initially that he's been revived. They go to the village and tell the villagers, hey, we don't have to prepare for war because we end up killing Atticus. This is over. And which is stupid, because you just killed the general of an army.
Right.
It doesn't make sense why you think the army would back down. And she gives this explanation like, oh, the protocols are that if you kill a general, they retreat. Why?
Yeah, it's kind of like
you committed a war crime.
It's kind of like Napoleon, where he killed one little faction and then he went home. No. Yeah. He didn't go home. He kept going.
Yeah.
And if the other people in his line died, he wasn't like, oh, let me go back.
Yeah.
Like that's like if Napoleon died in battle, they would keep going to battle.
Yeah.
They would just keep going like, sorry that man dead, but we got to keep going.
They sent one general
Right.
and one ship. You defeated one general and one ship. They're
One
not going to
faction.
stop pursuing you just because these
didn't
villagers happen to do that. They're going to
didn't
come
make
back in more force,
Which is what they did.
which is exactly what they did. But I thought it was stupid that she was like, oh yeah, we killed him. It's over. So we don't have to prepare for war. But then one of the guys that was part of the
OG villager, we'll call him.
Imperium
Oh, not him.
turned.
Okay.
There was a guy who was part of the Imperium who fell in love with a village girl and turned.
Of course.
He's still faking that he's
Right.
with the Imperium. So he gets a call from Atticus saying, hey, we're going to be there in 5 days.
Right. He's basically intel at this point.
Yeah. So over the course of the 5 days, we see them kind of like prepare for battle. But then when the Imperium shows up, they seem surprised.
They do. They
like,
do.
They were like, oh my God, they're here. Because it seemed like the Imperium like showed up like in the middle of them, like in the middle of their dinner or whatever. And they were like, oh, we got to hurry up and rally the troops. Like, but they told y'all they were going to be there in 5 days.
Jaime
They said it over and
Hansu
over and over again.
Plays Titus, so he's the guy who's training the, he's hype man, he's the general, he's getting everybody in order. He tells them you got 5 days. He's like, well, let's get the grain ready in 3 days. So they hustling, they trying to get their grain, they fighting, they training, and they out doing their thing. And the ships show up, and they're all like, oh my God, here they are. What are we gonna do? What should we do? I'm like, ain't y'all been training
You
for the
prepared for
last
this.
3 days? And nobody said they showed up early.
Yeah, nobody mentioned that they showed up on earlier than
So
scheduled.
I thought they had 2 days to spare.
I expected them. It's kind of like
I didn't get
it's kind
that.
of like the people of Rohan got to Helm's Deep, and the orcs just showed up and they were startled.
Right, they were like, oh.
the whole reason y'all came to Helm's Deep is because y'all know the orcs were coming.
Right.
Y'all needed a shelter, so it was very strange.
Yeah, that was weird. In the getting to the fight scene where after they actually, the bad guys show up on their ships and they're startled and they're ready to start training, or they're ready to start actually fighting. I would say the harvesting montage, there are a lot of montages here. The harvesting montage of seeing the people collect grain was not impactful.
Shooting montage.
The unnecessary slow motion scene of Titus getting water was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I have no idea why we needed to slow-mo somebody getting water out of a barrel. And then I also have too much singing and dancing. There's a lot of music, as Zack Snyder likes to put in his movies. It's a lot of that. It's actually the same song for maybe 10 minutes. It's just strung out in different parts of the movie.
I think he thought that we will care about these characters if we see them have a good time, but that doesn't make you care about characters. You care about the characters if you create good characters.
Well, the characters don't have much of a backstory.
Well, no. They do.
Sir.
They have backstory.
Sir.
Because we have there's the
Your
Last
favorite
Supper.
scene?
Yeah.
Your favorite scene of the movie where they basically do every character's backstory.
I call it the dinner of flashbacks.
There it is.
So
It was literally that.
they have, which is also dumb
Uh-huh.
because it's the dinner the night of the fourth day before the fifth day where the Imperium shows up. So which further backs up the fact they should have been aware that the Imperium were coming and they shouldn't have surprised
Right,
them.
because they're having like, we going to war tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to be ready. Last time I came against the Imperium, this is what happened. And then they each do that. And it's kind of like, y'all didn't have this conversation when y'all first met.
So they have the dinner of flashbacks where Jaime Hansu is like, hey, it's my turn to speak in the script again.
He does a lot of talking. I give him that.
And he's like, we are all going into battle together. We've traveled all of this way from the last movie, and none of us have actually talked to each other.
No.
Because we don't actually know any of our backstories.
None. One of us could be a serial killer and be like, oh, y'all didn't ask me, so I ain't saying nothing.
All this time as we're traveling across the stars to go to war,
Training people.
I would have assumed that they would have gotten to know each other, but no, they don't know anything about each other. They don't know who they've come from, where they've come from, their backstory. So we have the dinner of flashbacks where Jaime Hansu is like, okay, we need to sit down. We need to all tell how we got to where we were to how we got here. And we get a whole bunch of different flashbacks. Jaime Hansu's character, Titus gives the story where he was the general for the Imperium, but instead of destroying the village that they were sent after, they saved it, and as punishment, he had to watch the Imperium blow up his men. Dunabe's flashback, about her children,
her village,
being born in a fishing village where she raised her children, but the fishing village was attacked by the Imperium. But lo and behold, the fishing village was also like a village full of assassins.
Used to be assassins. Retired assassins, basically.
Retired assassins. So she cut her arms off.
Both arms.
For some reason.
Both arms.
She couldn't do her sword tricks with human arms. She needed to cut off her real arms.
Both.
And replace them with robot arms. And I thought that was interesting because the robot arms didn't do anything special. Like, she didn't have she didn't have like the widow's bite, like Black Widow, where she could like shoot beams out of her wrist.
Well, she didn't have super strength either, I don't think.
Like, it didn't give her super strength.
They weren't Bucky arms.
It wasn't a Bucky arm. It wasn't an Iron Man. It wasn't even a T-1000 arm from Terminator. They
looked nicely polished.
She just replaced her human arms with robot arms. Spoiler alert, they get chopped off again.
At least one of them does, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then, but she doesn't do anything with them. It would make sense if in her flashback she's like, I cut off my arms.
Now the lightsabers come out the arms, right?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
They didn't even allow the lightsabers.
She cut her because she used them to cut off her human arms. So they weren't attached to the arm.
She took the lightsaber to cut her arms off, so they didn't even.
But I was confused.
It makes it even more pointless.
I was confused because she cut off her arms because her kids were dead.
Well, yeah, her village was burned up, so everybody's gone but her.
And then she just went to work on a mining planet. She didn't go get revenge because she didn't start fighting the Imperium until Cora came and got her.
She said something. She just became like a voice of vengeance. I'm like, fighting who?
Fighting who? You're
doing what?
You're obviously not fighting. You're the killers of your children.
Well, you'd have thought she was like John Wick. I'm like, what have you been doing all day?
So she just cut off her arms and went to protect random people. Went to go fight a spider lady on a mining planet.
I did not get the chopping off of the arms, and it didn't seem like it hurt. She was just like shoot, like cutting off fingernails.
Stupid.
I didn't get it.
Well, we get the flashback of the guy who's the prince, who talks about what's his name, Tarek.
Yes,
he is the prince of a planet that is overrun by hippogriffs. They have hippogriffs as pets. And they were approached by the Imperium, and the Imperium came and killed his dad, who was the king.
Yes.
And they smoked him off world, but he watched his mom jump off of a roof.
There's jump
off of a balcony.
One of my notes says, "Who watches their mother jump off a bridge?"
Yeah, that was stupid.
Or I guess it was a castle.
Yeah.
Patio. So either way.
He watches his mom jump off of a balcony because she's like, well, I won't leave my people, but I'm going to smuggle my son away to protect the bloodline.
She didn't even stayed around to make sure he got away.
You didn't, because
she jumped off her patio.
Yeah, he's just wearing a peacoat and a top hat and watches his mom K-word herself, and then he just leaves. He doesn't even take his hippogriff with him because when we find him in the first movie, he's just a slave.
He is
with a hippogriff who clearly doesn't know him because he had to tame it.
A nobleman turned blacksmith. We don't know how here was my problem with all the backstories. It was literally maybe 30, 45 seconds each person, and we still didn't have no backstory. Like,
no.
Why was him being a prince significant? It never comes back up in the movie.
Never.
Titus being a general, like was he like a good general? Was he a bad general? Like, why was he the person to lead the resistance? We don't get anything about Donna Bay, who is Nemesis. That's the cyborg lady. Nothing about her fishing village. We literally show up to each person's backstory already in their tragedy.
Yeah.
We don't get anything beyond their tragedy. So you don't care. You're like, I don't even know who you are.
The girl.
Sorry to that man.
The girl who was part of the Blood Axis. I don't even remember her name.
Her real name is Cleopatra Cohen. Her character name is Devra. Are you talking about Ray Fisher's sister?
I'm talking about Milius, the
I
one
forgot
girl
all
who
about
was
that girl.
the one girl who was part of Ray Fisher's crew right after he died, and it kind of just seems like. So that was also interesting about her.
Forgot about her
sidebar.
Too. What was her backstory? I forgot.
Who cares? Because they didn't even go for her. They went for Ray Fisher and got stuck with her because he died and she was the last person on his team who was left alive.
Correct.
So she's just a tag along.
No, I'm really trying to remember her backstory. It don't matter.
Yeah, I do. I have it.
Okay, it's fine.
She was just part of a peace. she said she was part of a peaceful village that was very similar to the Grain Village, but they got attacked by the Imperium.
Yeah.
She was sent to cut rocks with lava.
There it is.
On some random
there
planet.
It is. I visually could not see her story in the movie. Like, I know I watched this movie. You're right.
She was sent to cut rocks.
She had to cut the rocks
on
with
some
lava.
planet, and Ray Fisher's character Darian came to save her.
Right.
And that scene kind of looked cool with him like blowing everything up and appearing out of the fire and the flames to save her. And I was like, if only he had done something that cool the first movie, because he kind of like died like a nobody.
He was literally in that
one.
movie for what, 5 minutes?
He died. I mean, like, all he did was they showed up to the planet. They got caught because
quickly
Charlie Hunnam's character betrayed him.
Right.
And then he died right after they got free.
Yeah. He didn't make it to the end.
He didn't do anything.
He was in like the middle of the second half and didn't even make it to the end.
No.
But he was in this one in this flashback. He was in
flashback.
both movies for a total of maybe 3.5 minutes. And I'm being generous.
Yeah. So the dinner flashbacks was ridiculous. It was egregious.
They tried to give us backstory of the characters and still didn't give us no real backstory.
We had a discussion about this, and I said that it would have been more interesting if these scenes that we're seeing as flashbacks were the scenes where they were being recruited. Like, they stumbled upon Jaimon Hanzo right when his people were being blown up by the Imperium, and they were like, okay, you're at the peak of your motivation, you're angry, you want revenge, come with us, we're gonna fight the Imperium.
Or it could have been like, the scene, and this is, I don't know if this would have worked, in Armageddon where they collect everybody and Bruce Willis gives her his, tells them where everybody is, and he's kind of like, Bear's here and he's here and somebody's here. If they would have did that in the first movie, like, I'm going to go collect these people and I'm collecting them because of this. Boom. Tell the backstory. And I'm collecting this person because of this. Boom. Tell the backstory. Instead, we wait to the second movie to even get any backstory about the character, which is about 45 seconds per person. And then it's kind of like, I don't really care.
You know what movies do this really well, much better?
What?
Ocean's movies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They introduce all of these characters and give you all of their skill sets without having a dinner of flashbacks where they tell you how they became who they are.
The night before they go to war.
Gone in 60 Seconds is also a great example of an ensemble cast of different people who have different skill sets. And we know who those movies are under 2 hours.
Yep.
And we know who each and every single one of those characters are. And we're invested in them.
And you get some even off those little bit of backstories that we get in those movies and the whole collect the crew montage. You get some favorites.
We care when they die. We care when they're in danger because they're actually interesting
You're like,
characters.
oh, I wish they would have lived. Or, oh, that was my favorite. Oh, I'm so glad he, made it out.
Yeah.
Did not care.
That's not what happens here. We just get like them sitting and giving us exposition. I give him credit for not just having them talk and showing us the scenes.
Sure.
But in the CGI,
beautiful gowns.
The best thing about this movie is the CGI.
It wasn't bad.
It's not the greatest. It
wasn't
Netflix
terrible.
CGI,
Yeah.
but it's the best part of this movie.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CGI was not bad. There was no scenes where I was like, ooh, that looks terrible. So that the budget obviously went to the visual effects.
Yeah. So
good
anyway,
for them.
We'll wrap it up since it's not. I mean, we'll wrap up the plot and then we can get to our notes because there's not much that happens after this.
Listen, I'm halfway through the notes. Am I complaining?
The Imperium shows up. Cora acts like she's gonna surrender.
Oh, you didn't like that part of the movie.
And the thing was, it wasn't an act. She was going to surrender.
We're in the what we liked and didn't like part about of our segment.
Yes, we are. So Atticus shows up. He's like, "Hey, I'm back alive. I'm coming to get my lick back.
I'm ready to turn it."
But he tells her, "We'll leave this place alone.
Yep.
If you come with us,
and won't kill anybody. I could take all y'all, but I'll just take you."
And she goes, "Okay, I won't let anybody else here die for me." She goes to her fake boyfriend and says, "Hey, I'm going to give myself up." He's like, "You're crazy. Why would you do that?" In my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, you're crazy because everybody here literally has a story about how they gave the Imperium what the Imperium asked for, and the Imperium still came and killed everybody." How about in the first movie?
I was going to say the first movie was literally that.
The first movie, when they came for grain, and they agree to the terms, and they still, that's the whole reason they have a new, I don't know what this town headsman.
Yeah, that's the reason why the town look all downtrodden and torn up, is because they came and said, oh,
the leader of the village is not the same leader of the village in the first movie, because they killed him.
They killed
after
the first
he
one.
agreed to give them what they, like,
Exactly.
why would you think that they would take you and leave this village alone?
That was so, and we thought it was a ruse. We thought that she was saying, oh, I'll go with you, please don't kill any people, as like kind of like a gotcha. I'm actually going to
but
you right in the head.
She went full idiot.
She was going to literally go with them, and fake boyfriend had to come
be
in
the smart one.
And right, and kick off the turn up, and that's when all the villagers started coming out and shooting them. And I was like, why would y'all literally just spent 5 days? Titus just gave a whole speech. We just sat through y'all how did I get here montage, backstory montage, for you to go, don't worry about it, y'all. All the blood, sweat, and tears that y'all have fought for and come together with in a rah-rah prep talk and the ceremony where we got personalized flags for each of the persons in the group. None of that matters, because I'm just going to give myself up and trust that the evil guys aren't going to be evil anymore.
I feel like the Imperium has made it very clear that there is no negotiation.
No.
There is only surrender. There is nothing that you can give them where they will stop coming to ask.
And they specifically wanted the grain, the women, and the children.
Yes, they want everything. They were going to rape the villagers. You think that taking you would be the end of this?
It did make worst plot point of the whole movie was the fact that she was going to give up until fake boyfriend initiated the turn up that they had been planning for 5 days.
Because as the adoptive daughter of the new ruler of the mother world, who led a coup, killed the king, queen,
whole royal family,
and the child.
Yeah,
you should know them more than these villagers. It shouldn't be the random boyfriend dude being the one to be like, "You're nuts. They're not going to actually agree to these terms."
Did not get that point. I didn't get it at all, because when she finally, they continue to go on with the plan that they already had. So the plan was for her to go up with boyfriend up to the ship to kill Atticus. It was like, I don't understand why we deviating from the plan, girl.
So
it was
stupid.
It was working.
So anyway, the fighting pops off.
Yeah.
Duna Bay has a boring fight scene.
All the fight scenes were whack.
I thought it was going to be good because she was the only one who had like swords. Like something, everybody else just had guns and was shooting. She was the only person who had something visually interesting to look at.
Duna Bay is Nemesis, and Nemesis is the one who has the robot arms with the lightsabers. For anybody who ain't keeping track.
I thought that she was going to be interesting. Her fight was, because I enjoyed her in the first one.
She was fine.
She had the best action sequence in the first one, even though everybody kind of just stood around and watched her fight a spider.
It was a very slow. All these action sequences are slow because I feel like whoever was the fight coordinator wasn't able to do what
whoever did the fight
typical
choreo,
fight coordinators do.
Yeah, whoever did the fight choreo doesn't know good fight choreo, so all the fights are really bad.
It was very much like trying to teach somebody fight choreo, where you have to go slow so the person doesn't either accidentally hit you or look goofy.
Zack Snyder did an interview where he said that they asked him why he incorporates so much slow-mo into films, and he basically said that
my fight coordinator's not that good.
No. He basically said he incorporates slow-mo into action because it adds more weight and makes it more epic. But no, what it does for a Zack Snyder film is that it makes the scene slower so you can point out all of the issues.
And it makes the movie longer.
Easier. And it makes the movie longer. But anyway, Duna Bay is the only person of the group that dies.
Yeah, everybody else lives, surprisingly.
She dies protecting some children.
Oh, that's not true. Boyfriend dies.
Oh, yeah, boyfriend dies.
We forgot.
I never considered him part of the group, though.
Okay, he
kind of felt like a tag-along.
Yeah, he wasn't part of the recruits, essentially. So you're
Duna
right.
Bay was the only, warrior.
Correct.
Who was killed.
Right.
Which... boyfriend caught a plasma
stray
bullet in the gut.
Yeah. Now, killing her doesn't make any sense because... just either kill multiple people or keep everybody alive.
She had to die because she lost her children.
Okay.
And she was never going to be the same.
Titus lost his whole... He was the reason his whole army got killed.
They weren't his kids.
Oh, they were probably like kids.
So she had to die because she lost her kids, and she probably wanted to be at peace with the kids. She probably wanted to die in battle anyway. So that's fine.
That wasn't a good way to go. I would have picked a different battle if I had a choice.
Cora and boyfriend make it up to the ship, where they pretty much get in very easily.
Yeah.
They get into the ship. They kill all of the guards and the
Set off some
Imperial forces
bombs.
inside. They rig this ship is like a carbon copy of the Death Star, but just smaller.
It's not round.
The Death Star is a planet-killing weapon. This is just a village-killing weapon.
Tiny
this can
village.
blow up a whole village.
Yeah.
So they rig the gun, the village killer gun, with bombs, so it actually blows inward and blows up the ship. We get a big, flashy firefight between Atticus and Cora with some...
You know what that scene reminds me of the blowing up of the ship? Not Civil War, Winter Soldier, where they try to blow up the helicarriers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like they imploded and it's like falling apart from the sky.
Yeah.
It looks very much like that.
Or kind of like blowing up the sand crawlers on Dune a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Because it's like an implosion situation.
The explosion CGI was the best of the CGI. And that's like, I feel like that's like stock CGI. You can get that anywhere.
I mean, Netflix just probably like grab that from over there, from that movie.
Copy paste.
Yeah, and move it over here. Jizz it up, little
Send
AI.
it to assets.
Right. Good to go. Film grain. Boom.
Right.
Done.
We get a lightsaber duel.
Yep, pretty much. I like the colors of the lightsabers.
Because they were blue. And they were swords.
They were like
electric
blue.
swords instead of like laser swords.
Sure.
We had a lightsaber duel between Cora and Atticus. Of course she kills Atticus because she has already killed Atticus. She has proven that she can fight better than Atticus.
Yes.
He didn't seem to come back any stronger.
No.
He came back the same, which
He
is
had
weird.
maybe more upper body strength. Because he was choking people out, remember?
That's true.
So he has some more upper body strength. But other than that, no benefits to being resurrected.
Yeah, none.
Actually, now that I think about it, why? They could have sent Cassius in there.
Yeah, this would have been the perfect opportunity to send in a different general. Why
Absolutely.
Why resurrect the guy that failed send him back to do it?
And we get no backstory or reasoning as to why it had to be Atticus.
Because we don't know who Atticus is. Because he's just a stock space Nazi.
Right. Because clearly there's a whole army of people out here with different admirals and whatnot. Just pluck another admiral in his place and keep it going.
It could have been Cassius, the dude who was his second in command.
Exactly.
He could have been the villain of this part.
They could have anybody else.
Yeah.
And it would have been the same storyline. And we just would not have cared.
Second best part of this movie is she chops his head off. Good.
Yeah.
I was glad.
Now we know he did.
It looks like they were gonna do a torso stabbing and watch him die, or it looks like they were gonna do a Palpatine and watch him fall down a chasm.
Yeah, we already did that the first movie.
Right, but no, you need to lop this dude's head off.
Because the first movie, she knocks him off the ship and he falls, but he ends up washing ashore like Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
So that's how they end up saving him.
So they actually follow through. They chopped his head off.
Although we don't see it. We just get the motion.
Because it's the PG-13 cut. The extended R-rated cuts doesn't come out until later this year.
I'm not watching that.
Where there has the blood and...
Because there's very minimal blood in this movie.
I don't think there's any blood in this movie.
She has some red on her.
There's like wounds.
Yes.
But you don't see the
no
damage
gushing.
that inflicts the wounds.
Correct.
Or anything. You just kind of like have fake dry blood everywhere.
Yes, because Cora's tank top is red, but I was like, when did she get...
And her forehead has like blood streaks on it, but
right.
I don't know when she got like knocked in the noggin like that. But...
Yeah, because after she chickened out, her and boyfriend go to the ship, so I'm not sure when she got bloodied up.
Yeah.
Anywho, go ahead.
So after she chops his head off, the rest of Ray Fisher's team arrives to help.
The Blood Axis,
his sister, shows up to help clean up what's left of the Imperium. And we kind of just get a...
You missed the most egregious part of this whole movie.
What was the egregious part?
Anthony Hopkins' robot.
Oh, yes.
Going back 2 sections, that is my least favorite character of this movie.
Yeah.
Was the robot Jimmy.
The super effective robot who decided to do nothing until the last 5 minutes of the film. Yeah.
Yeah. And he probably did something for less than 5 minutes. So Anthony Hopkins plays Jimmy, who is basically a knockoff C-3PO. In the first movie, I don't know what he did. He got made fun of. But he's a robot who's always supposed to work for the king. So when the king,
he's programmed to protect the royal bloodline.
Right. When the king dies, he ends up being an agent. Not an agent, but he ends up being basically a robot for the military. And he does, I don't know, heavy lifting or whatever. In this movie, he does nothing. He has a couple lines. He does some narration. He tells Cora that there's no way you're going to win this war. When she runs into him, he has a cape like Superman for some unknown reason.
Reindeer antlers.
And reindeer antlers. And then at the very end of the movie, when multiple villagers have died, Nemesis is dead. Cora and boyfriend are up on a burning ship. He finally decides, you know what? Let me help and do something. So he steps in and blows up the machine, this big, huge machine.
Like a tank.
Like a tank, right. That's shooting bullets and trying to kill the villagers and blow up the village. And he destroys it pretty effectively. But that would have been helpful 15 minutes earlier. He also gets
rid of like a whole field of like troops.
Yes.
Because he's a robot. He's bulletproof and nothing hurts him. So he just gunned everybody down very quickly.
Once he shows up to work, he actually works.
He's very effective.
But he don't show up to work until 5 minutes before his shift is over.
Absolutely.
And lots of casualties have been had.
Yeah.
So that's my thing I would change about this movie. Just either let him do his job or take him out of here. Because he's basically too overpowered.
Yeah.
Because he could have took out everybody in 10 minutes.
So the movie ends where Jaimin Hansu, they're having a funeral for the fallen.
Oh, yeah.
And Jaimin Hansu reveals to everybody, Titus reveals to everyone that we all know that you are Athaleus, Cora. He tells Cora, we all know that you are the one who killed the princess and kicked off all of this. Now, why they don't kill or imprison her?
Or ask no questions?
She is the reason. They only came to this village because they knew that she was here.
Did they? In this movie? Because in the first movie, they come because of the grain.
Right.
In the second movie, they come because they know she's there. You're right.
So they only came to do all this because they know she's here. So she's the cause of all of this. She's also a kid killer.
Well, and and I guess you can say, well, she's shown up and they only know her as Cora and she's helped protect the village and she's one of them now. But it's kind of like, y'all not gonna ask no questions?
Yeah.
Because according to the rumor, she actually took out the whole royal family, not just the daughter.
Yeah.
So who clarified that she actually didn't kill the king and the queen?
Because as far as y'all know,
just the daughter.
Right. Because as far as y'all know, she did all of that.
She took out all of everybody. So that was just, and she's like, don't consider me no noble, whatever. Like, girl, shut up.
Yeah. So
you here, you working, you showed up, you helped out. Like,
they're like, hey, we know you're the one that caused all of this.
Spare me the pity and the woe.
We know that you're the one who caused all of this, but you helped us fight them and defeat them, so we're with you to the end. And they're like, okay, well, the princess is actually alive. We're not going to explain how she's alive.
Or how we know that.
Why it's important that she's alive. Because I don't think it matters if the princess is alive or not. The mother world exists. You need to kill the mother world. You can figure out who rules the after they're
because
defeated.
It's as if once they find out that the daughter lives, the mother world people are going to be like, oh, my bad.
It's
y'all got the true heir to the throne. Let us back off and not be trash people anymore.
It's as if the princess is supposed to be Harry Potter and she's the one who's supposed to defeat him, when clearly not, because she died. All it took was a bullet.
Right.
But
and where is she?
Right. What did they do with her body to where she's just out free and needs to be found, and the mother world doesn't know that?
Yeah, because
alive?
when they killed the royal family, it's around a whole army of people. So it's not like they died in their sleep. Or she fell off a cliff and they just thought she was dead. No, the bodies was on the ground.
And also,
so where does she go after that?
How did Jaimin Hansu find out that the princess is alive? And if you know that the princess is alive and you know she is the key, what were you doing?
Training villagers?
Yeah. No, but prior to that, what were you doing the entire time?
Oh, because they found him being a gladiator, right?
Why didn't you do anything?
He's downtrodden.
Nobody else knew
people.
that this girl was alive, but you did, and you know how important she clearly is. So why didn't you do any? Why didn't you say that instead of preparing to save this grain village?
Right.
While we've been,
won't we go find the princess
gallivanting around space?
Apparently, the key to saving all of this.
Why don't we go? How about we stay on mission? But they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go find her, and we're all with you. And it goes to black because there's going to be a to be continued.
It's basically right. It's basically a setup, like you said, for the Return of the King.
Yeah, it's the Return of the King.
Although now that I think about it, if Zack Snyder is saying that there are technically 4 more movies, then this is not even, them finding the princess is not even the key. It's got to be something else.
Fat chance, Zach. There's no way be 4 more movies to this.
There is no way. It wouldn't be. You know what? It's not fair. It's not fair that directors can keep getting these big budget movies and they not be good, and the critics don't like it, the fans don't like it, and y'all just kind of like, well, we'll just keep giving them money. Find somebody else. You could have made this story with a different director, and I bet you somehow it would have worked.
Netflix is because
I don't know how, but somebody else would have been able to flip this.
A different director and writer, because remember, it's written by Zack Snyder too, and Zack Snyder is not a good writer.
Him and Kurt.
Zack Snyder
Kurt need to give it up too. I'm sorry.
Zack Snyder writes like I wrote when I was like in school writing fanfic.
When you were trying to enter in a contest off the cereal box.
Yeah. That's how Zack Snyder writes.
The movie is very much on rails, as you say. Like, there's no surprises, there's no plot twist, there's no turns. You can know who's about to die, what they're about to. There was one line I even said before they said it in the movie, because that's how on
so
rails.
Cliche.
That's how on rails the movie is. And it ends, the fact that it ends with the princess still being alive, and now they're going to get together to go find her and finally defeat the final army, also not a surprise. I was just kind of like, of course she's alive. Why would she not be?
So
y'all want to find a way. That's the only way they could continue this on, is to keep that girl alive, because otherwise, pointless.
So let's get to our notes, because I don't think it's fair we have to spend a lot of time editing this.
Yes, you're right.
Horrible movie review.
And to be honest, those were all my notes. I've said them all.
So I have a couple notes.
Okay.
My first note was, for a second, we weren't sure if we played the right film.
True.
Because it starts just like the first movie
I asked you to check it. I was like, is this part 2?
Yeah, we had to check to make sure we didn't accidentally play part 1 again, because it starts with the Anthony Hopkins narration, which leads into my second note, that Anthony Hopkins narrating won't trick me into thinking this is a good movie.
No, you already showed me the first part.
I adore Anthony Hopkins, but and I know he thinks that sticking Anthony Hopkins on the forefront of something because everybody loves Anthony Hopkins will make it good. No,
I like Anthony Hopkins, but it's so funny when he talked bad about the Thor movies and decided to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know why?
Sir,
because Anthony recorded his lines at home.
Okay.
Because he was nowhere in this film. So
did he do the voice work for What If?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll look while you keep talking, because I'm curious now.
Yeah. Didn't need to see slow-mo grain farming.
None of the slow-mo was necessary.
I think it was enough to just say we need to gather all the grain. And then show us like a brief scene of them like chopping it, but we don't need to see them do all the grain. We don't need to see them literally farm all of the grain. I think that's a little egregious.
Oh my goodness.
And the sub note to the slow-mo grain farming is it can be done well. Dune has interesting visuals and machines that they use to farm the spice.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting to look at the spice machine.
Like little feet.
And its little feet, like a giant spider. It's crawling across the desert.
Like a beetle almost. It's like a beetle.
And it's interesting and it's mechanical. It's like, okay, I don't know how this works. I don't care because it looks cool.
Exactly. And you give me a good story around it.
Right. And I don't mind watching these machines pick up spice and sand or whatever. But it's not interesting to watch humans do human farming in slow motion. And that is boring.
The crazy part about it, this is supposed to be a futuristic setting movie, because
so why are they using scythes?
Hello. Next note.
Anthony Hopkins, a sentient AI robot, is walking around cosplaying as Superman. But we have to watch the villagers use regular hand tools to farm wheat.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. They don't even have... Humans on Earth today don't even farm wheat that way. Right. We don't. We use machines to do that.
It just...
I don't know why she cut her hair into that ugly bowl cut.
So in the opening in the movie, not the opening movie, when she's in the army, she's got this ugly bowl cut military hair. And as she leaves the army or runs away, her hair grows out. So she got a little bob popping. For some reason, she cuts off her bob into the ugly military hair.
Because isn't the whole point that you don't want to be who you were? So why would you cut your hair in the exact same way?
No sense.
To remind everybody that this is what I looked like when I made that little girl eat that bullet.
I think
it doesn't make any sense.
I think he was trying to do the typical scene we talk about where when a woman ready to turn up in a movie, she cut her hair into a bob, but she already had a bob.
She already had the bob.
So she go from a bob to the ugliest bowl cut you could give a woman, and I'm just kind of like, but why? It wasn't even a good turn up scene. So whatever.
Ridiculous. Way too many scenes of us watching them prepare the village destroying gun. we kept cutting back to them charging and aligning.
Well,
and
they
lining
had
up.
to go real slow because we had to give time for Cora to get wherever she was at to do whatever she was doing.
It took my note was that it took less time to fire up the Death Star.
Oh yeah.
When they wanted to blow up Alderaan, they said, "Hey, you see that planet?
Mm-hmm.
Give us what we want, or we're gonna blow it up."
Give me the coordinates. Pop it in. Keep it going.
And they blew it up immediately. It was so quick to load up. The
It was
Death
just
Star.
a typical. We're gonna draw this scene out to give our protagonist time to get where she needs.
And then my last note about the end was that kid killers don't deserve happy endings. So
We agreed with that.
I don't feel bad for her. Her boyfriend dies.
Yes, boyfriend dies at the end because he gets a lightsaber to the gut or something, and they make it off of the ship. So as they're on the ground, you know, she's like, "Oh, look, the blood axes have come," and you know, we cut to the blood axes, but when we cut back, he's dead.
She should have been the one to die.
Agree.
I think that's the only proper ending for her. She has to die.
She should have died, but if she dies, this franchise is over.
Yeah.
So they had to keep her alive, along with keeping the girl alive, because there wouldn't have had no movie. Because we do not care about anybody else in this movie. Or anybody, period.
Not only did you kill a girl.
Yeah, and no consequences.
Not only did you kill a
Gee,
child.
you should have served some time.
You went on the run. You kept to yourself. You didn't try to make up for it until they showed up on your doorstep. Mm-hmm. And then the whole reason all these people are dying is because you decided to hide out here.
She had 2 boyfriends. She got 2 boyfriends.
And both of them died.
And correct.
You decided
correct
to
on both
hide,
accounts.
You decided to hide out here.
Yeah.
That is why everybody here is dying. Instead of going and living in seclusion by yourself, where nobody else would have been harmed by your actions, you decided to come here. You brought down all of this tragedy on these people. And
no consequences.
You have the audacity to be upset that your boyfriend is dead.
Boyfriend
Yeah,
of what? Like a couple weeks?
You didn't even want him.
No, you
Remember
wanted
in
the
first
other
movie,
guy.
You wanted the other guy, but he got his throat slit and nobody knows because he died on the ship and they threw his body out and it never came back up.
Well, I mean, at that point, we was at the end of the movie. There's no need to go back to that.
So,
well, the fact that Nemesis died didn't come up either. I'm assuming
yeah.
they just found her in the shed.
Wrapped her up and burned her just with everybody else.
I guess so.
So, yeah, she didn't deserve a happy ending, and I'm glad she didn't get one.
I mean, she's probably gonna live if this.
She should not live.
If this ever comes into fruition onto film again, she'll probably live.
And I don't mean she gets to go on a boat and float over to the Undying Lands.
No.
I mean she needs to die.
She should.
She doesn't get a happy ending.
It's kind of like John Wick. Like, we love John Wick and the character, but John Wick was an assassin.
He killed a lot of people.
It's also kind of like Darth Vader.
And
Anakin Skywalker. He killed kids, y'all. He got the gun.
And you feel bad because he left the life and got married and his wife died of cancer and then his puppy died and you feel bad, but it's just like, yeah, but
he is an assassin.
Like the guy at the Continental said over and over again, you entered this world.
Right.
You made the choices that you made.
Right.
These are the consequences.
And I guess you can say he killed bad people. True. But murder is murder.
Murder is murder.
And he was known to be a very good murderer.
And we're not sure if that's bad people because it seems like in the game of assassins, everybody's fair game. So
Right.
you don't have to technically be bad.
You can't tell me ain't no bystander get hit.
You just got to have a hit put on you.
Right. So her dying would not have been surprising, but it would have been a fitting end to all of this hogwash.
Yeah. So what would we change if we could? I'm going to skip this because there's too much.
We would change the whole movie.
Yeah, this movie wasn't good.
There's a lot I would change. We talked about it. Just rewind this episode, play it from the beginning.
So much.
And that's what we would change.
I don't have, there's not enough time in the world to list the improvements that we will make.
No. You got to pay me for that.
Who would like this movie?
Nobody.
I don't think anybody would like this film.
You're not.
A
Unless
couple
you
of
enjoy
bots
watching things just to be in the conversation. Sure.
There are a couple of bots on Twitter who are programmed to say complimentary things anytime Zack Snyder's name is tweeted, but I don't think any human living person, sentient.
Someone liked this movie.
Yeah.
He did.
He did.
And the people in it.
Yeah. Ooh.
We don't know that, but I'm going to go with it. That's 6 people at least.
We don't know. We have to wait until all these people get other jobs to where they can do interviews and talk about how much they hated this one.
There we go.
I would like to talk.
actors
I would like to know how Carrie Elwes got roped into this.
Because Anthony Hopkins.
Because he's
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that.
favorite line or scene.
My favorite scene would be the one where it goes off.
Okay.
That's it. The ending. That's my favorite.
I guess my favorite scene would be the ship blowing up.
Okay.
Because I like the CGI.
It was good CGI.
And I'll give him credit for chopping off the villain's head. I love a good chop off the villain's head.
I would have loved it more if we saw the head being chopped off. Yeah. For all we know, she only slit his throat.
We can watch the R-rated version when it comes out. And we can see the full head chop off scene.
God did not put me on this earth to watch a bad movie twice.
I'll give them credit for chopping off the villain's head. Do it. Okay. Kill villains.
Yes, I agree with that.
Kill bad guys.
Kill villains and people who murder innocent children.
Yeah. Final words about the movie and our rating.
0 Nicole Kidmans.
My final word about this film is oof.
That's my rating and my final words.
I'm not even gonna. Nicole wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Nicole wouldn't even do an ad for this. You know, where she'd be like, the movies is where we come to escape or whatever. She'd be like, I need to escape this. This is the movie in which I need to leave. Why y'all got me in here?
And Nicole Kidman would not watch this, so 0 Nicole Kidman.
Don't bother watching.
It didn't go to streaming, so it's not worth the theater. I kind of felt bad after watching this because I was like, I feel like with the way, because I feel like the box office isn't doing well this weekend. Like no movie is making a lot of money.
Yeah,
I feel like I should have contributed to either like Abigail or
both of those movies got good reviews.
Yeah, and we watched Rebel Moon.
Well, we kind of had a time restriction as well.
We sacrificed
but we
for
did.
You guys so that you guys could have an accurate review of this film. Mm-hmm. So no, it's not worth the theater. It went to streaming. Even if it was going to theaters, you know what? A part of me wishes it went to theater because I would like to see the cinema score.
I would have liked to see the numbers.
I really want to see the cinema score in the box office, like just for science. Yeah.
It would have been
see what it would be like.
Would have been an interesting plot point to the Zack Snyder movie discussion.
I want to venture into the multiverse and go to the universe where this came out in theaters and talk to those people and pull those people.
Yeah.
So should you watch this on streaming? No, I think you should absolutely skip this film. It's not good.
You don't need it. You should listen to our review and share it with somebody.
It's not even like a fun bad watch. It's not a get your friends together and watch and gripe on it.
Like Madam Web was bad, but at least it was funny to laugh at. Mm-hmm. This is bad, and I'm just annoyed that I spent 2 hours and 2 minutes watching it.
Somebody compare Madam Web movie to like a fun girlfriend movie.
No.
Like you get your girlfriend, because it's a movie with all women and women superheroes, and you get your girlfriends together and you all trash it over like wine or something.
Negative.
I don't think that's true about Madam Web.
It's not.
But this movie isn't one of those movies where you get your friends together and you roast it. This was not good.
I don't think, somebody made a good point of saying the first movies they felt bad for critics because they had to watch it. Mm-hmm. Like that was their job. And they were like, I'm pretty sure most critics are just watching it now to just write bad about it. And they're going to enjoy writing bad about it.
Yeah, a lot of critics who reviewed part 1 did not return for this.
Why? When you have 2 other movies. What is the movie called?
Abigail and Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Ungentlemanly Warfare has a A-.
Yeah.
From Cinema Score, y'all. Yeah. So that is the movie to see this weekend. And Abigail got a B
for a horror film.
Which is good for horror. So there were 2 much better movies that came out this weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to watch either one of those. But we are saving your time by telling you not to go watch this.
Boo garbage.
Yeah, go see the 2.
Definitely going to contend for our Vaguely Nerdy Awards for like worst film.
Which this one or the first one? It don't even matter. Together, they're a pair. They're a pair of messes.
So that is our review of Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Don't check it out.
Absolutely not. Skip.
What are we watching next week?
We are going to watch Boy Kills World, which you are very excited about.
I'm excited about.
I am looking forward to it as well.
Benjamin. He's the voice of Archer and Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
We like Art.
Mm-hmm.
He's also going to be in The Crow.
Yes.
I had posted a tweet because I think they did like a breakdown of like the films that's coming out. He's also going to be Nosferatu.
Right.
So he's a really good character actor. Looks action-y.
It looks very actiony. There's a Red Band trailer for this.
Yeah, very actiony, very bloody. It looks fun and colorful. Mm-hmm. It has Famke Janssen, who's Jean Grey in it.
Huh? She's the bad person. It looks like.
I think she's like the main villain.
It
seems like it's going to be like a bunch of villains, but she's like the head honcho. So I'm very interested in that, and it looks like a dumb, fun action flick, kind of a la like John Wick.
Correct. I need a John Wick after this.
Yeah, after I finished Rebel Moon, I was like, I need a palate cleanser. I was like, should I go see Ungentlemanly Warfare?
I want to see it.
A film? Yeah, I want to see it.
Although I don't think it's going to be in theaters long based on the numbers.
Yeah, it's not. And it's not releasing in the UK and Canada.
Right.
And like a lot of people said, it's funded by Amazon.
So it'll be
and they're going to throw it on the service. So maybe if it goes into the service soon and we have a blank week, we can watch it and give our review, or maybe just do like a quick review.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it regardless.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I will watch Abigail because I hear it's got good review. Too. I like Melissa Barrera. Dan Stevens
is also in this.
Giancarlo Esposito is also in it.
It looks like a good time. It doesn't look too scary for me, so I think I want to see it.
The girl from Freaky is in it.
Yes. Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about, but she's also in something else. We are horrible with names, but it's okay. We're human.
She was Lisa Frankenstein.
Yes.
Catherine Newton.
Yes. Yeah. That's her. That's her.
So we will be back next week with our review for Boy Kills World. Thanks for listening. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voice message that we can play on the show if it's nice.
Yeah, only nice.
You can follow us on Twitter at Vaguely Nerdy Pod or IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. And you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time.
Bye.
Peace.